Hey guys, my name is Tori and I'm going to make a video about my cat and her health. I had noticed that our cat kind of wheezes and she started doing something that I thought was normal. My cat started coughing and we thought it was her trying to get a hairball up. I did some research one night and I realized that she wasn't coughing up a hairball because cats actually vomit up hairballs and she never vomited. And after some research, it looked like asthma and an asthma attack. So that scared me and I got a vet appointment right away. And because of COVID-19, it was kind of a stressful thing. We took her to the vet and had to sedate her basically with medication because I knew she was going to act really not okay at the vet because we couldn't be in the room with her. We had to do a drop off. So basically we went in the back, gave the cat in the cat carrier to the nurse, and they brought her back in and then started stuff. So they did a whole overview of her and they found a couple of things out. So they basically said, we want to do x-rays because it sounds like asthma, and she did have a little bit of noise when they were listening to her lungs. So they did the x-rays and it came back that yes, she does have asthma, or it could be heartworm or lungworm. So we went ahead and treated her for both heartworm and lungworm. He said that it's probably not that. It looks more like asthma, but they'd rather be safe than sorry. So they went ahead and treated her for that, well, we did, and we're currently in the treatment. We have to do 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, give her a treatment in the back of her neck for the lungworm, I believe. And they wanted to do blood testing just to rule out, I think it was heartworm, it might have been lungworm, I don't know, but she started waking up by that point from the sedation and was not letting them do the blood test, but thankfully she was calm enough for them to do the x-rays. We also found out that she most likely has allergies to her food. The treatment for those options are basically she has to go on a hypoallergenic diet, and a lot of people think that hypoallergenic diets are like a specific food brand, but all it means is that they only are allowed to eat one protein source, animal protein source. So a lot of cat foods and dog foods, if you look on the back, it says like salmon is like some of the top ingredients, but then it'll say chicken or it'll say some other form of meat, and we could only have one protein source. And the hard part of it is she can't have any meat that she's ever had before, to our knowledge. So we went to PetSmart and bought a bunch of different food that only has one protein source and like grain-free, basically like the higher grade foods. She was eating Fancy Feast grilled cans of like seafood, and she really loved those, but we bought a bunch of different kinds. So basically the only food that she's not ate before was turkey, rabbit, and dove. So we tried rabbit and she liked some of it, but she's not a huge fan of like the pate foods. She only likes grilled. So that's very hard to find with only one protein source. We did find a bunch of turkey stuff and then a bunch of dove stuff. And he said, the vet basically said that you have to be on this diet for 8 to 12 weeks to even notice a difference. So it's going to be a while before we see if there's any results. It's been kind of a nightmare because with the food, she started getting some diarrhea with certain foods. So we found out, okay, she can't eat this food because it's making her feel sick. And then she wasn't eating a bunch of them. So we found one can that she really enjoys, actually 2. And they're mostly turkey based. So we bought hard food that is dove, and she enjoys dove. So I'm gonna ask my doctor if it's okay for her to eat dove hard food and then turkey soft food, and just keep it at 2 animals. And the food that she does have is all dove and all turkey. It's not a mixture. So I'm gonna ask and see if that's okay. If not, then I'll just have to find a turkey hard food, because we do leave hard food down at all times. And then we feed her the grilled canned food every like meal. So like morning, afternoon, lunchtime, and then dinner, because you're supposed to have 2 to 3 cans depending on your weight. And she weighs 9.68 pounds, 9.86 pounds maybe. She's like almost 10 pounds, but she's like perfectly healthy for her weight. So that said to just keep doing what we're doing, that she's good. So we're gonna try that. So hopefully that'll help her. The reason why he said that he thinks that's what it is because her ears look pretty agitated, and he didn't see ear mites or anything, because she did have a lot of wax buildup. And he took a sample and He said that cats have a normal amount of yeast, but she had just a tiny bit more than normal. So that's where we had to do eardrops, and that was the easier of the medicines that we had to do. So for 10 days, I gave her eardrops 2 times a day. So I did it in the morning when I started work, and then towards like dinner time. And the eardrops were Tresiderm. I don't know what that is if you're interested in what it was, but yeah, Tresiderm for the eardrops, but that is officially done. I started that on the 5th of April and it was done on the 15th of April. So thankfully for our cat that is done, because she did not like them, but I got them all done. And then we had to move on to pills, and this is a nightmare to do. This is what the pills look like. It's just this tiny little pill, but she does not like pills. So this is prednisolone. Prednisolone, that's what it's called. Basically, it is a steroid by mouth. With animals, you're not supposed to dry pill them, so you're not supposed to drop the pill in their throat without water. So he gave us a syringe. We're supposed to do 6 milliliters of water, syringe it in her mouth while we're putting the pill in, and oh, that is such a nightmare. I feel so bad for her because she hates it, and it's probably very traumatic for her, but it's what's necessary. With this pill though, it's not supposed to be long-term. It can be actually dangerous long-term. So this is just a temporary thing just to get her inflammation down as much as possible. So what that basically means is for about 2 weeks she's supposed to be on the pill, and we're on we started on the 5th. We're on day 13 of her pill. So what that means is today we get to start her inhaler. So basically the pill was just to get her inflammation down, like I said, as much as possible, and then the inhaler is supposed to help keep that down. So he wants us to start on day 13, 14, or 15, adding this with the pill, and we have to do this every single 12 hours for the rest of her life. And this one is only for 2 weeks, but he wants us to start incorporating both of them kind of simultaneously to kind of prepare her body to start using this all the time. So what that is Flovent, and that's what he gave us. So basically we have to get an inhaler and connect this sucker here, and then we have 2 attachments, but the tiny attachment works. And we have to connect it and put her little face and nose inside here and spray. And I think it's only 1 spray, which I need to ask him because we're supposed to do it once every 12 hours, but I don't know if he wants us to do 1 squirt. I hope so, because I'll tell you in a second. And then this little thing rises and falls, and we have to wait for her to do 10 breaths, and then she's done. This thing is going to be a nightmare. I have read a lot of things and watched a lot of videos on the best way to get your cat prepared for this, and basically you're supposed to just take this little part, take it off here, and let the cat get used to this section. And then once she's used to that, attach the actual attachment, and then she'll start to get used to it. So yeah, hopefully this is going to go well. I have a feeling this is not going to go well, but we got to do what we got to do. So yeah, that's going to happen. And then after we use it, wash it all out, let them dry. You can take this whole thing apart, and we're supposed to wipe her face off with a rag to get the stuff off. So yeah, this thing was like 60 bucks, and then the Flovent 110 mcgs was $275, and this is only going to last us 2 months. That's extremely expensive. I've looked to see if cat insurances would cover it, and it does not. So this is going to be extremely scary to be able to afford, but we'll get it figured out. I will literally do whatever it takes to get my cat this. So Trey bought the first round, so I'm going to buy the second. So we're just going to, every single 2 months, we're going to go back and forth. So yeah, she'll start this today or tonight. I need to double check the email because I said either day 13, 14, or 15. I think it would be 13 because it's 2 weeks, and he said to do it a couple of days before we finish the pill. So I'm pretty sure tonight will be the first night, and then day 14, which will be 2 weeks on the pill, we'll start this, and then day 15 will only be the inhaler. So that'll be starting tonight, I believe. So that'll be pretty interesting. So basically that is all what we've had to kind of put our cat through, which is so sad, and she hates it all, but I will do whatever it takes to keep her safe. So yeah, we found out that she has asthma, and I guess 1 in every 100 cats have asthma, and I had no idea that that was even a statistic. That seems extremely high to me. So if you have a cat and you notice that they are coughing up hairballs but no hairballs come up, that is a telltale sign that they have asthma. And I did notice that our cat was like wheezing, but it didn't register as wheezing until after I started doing research, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she has asthma. So luckily for us, we caught it just in time where it's not going to be a severe or serious thing. So with asthma in cats, the older they get, the harder it is to treat asthma, because there's no cure, but you can do treatment, and the treatment is the inhaler and the steroids. So if we had waited longer as she got older, it'd be much harder to manage it. So we caught it just in time, thankfully. That is a huge relief of mine. I would have felt completely guilty if we hadn't caught it on time. So with all of that, the doctor also said that she has a tiny little tooth in the front that has started to basically fall apart, and that's a very common thing. He said he sees it in about 1 in every 3 cats. For some reason, some cats just have this with their teeth. So he wants to do surgery because he said it is causing pain, and he highly recommends that we pull it. So in order to do that, we have to put her under general anesthesia, because it'll just be too painful and too scary for her to do it awake. And in order for us to do general anesthesia, he wants her to go completely through the 2 weeks on the pill and then be on the inhaler for about 2 to 3 weeks. And he said he wants to see pretty good improvement on her breathing and her health to make sure that it is properly working, her lungs are good, and that she's healthy enough to go underneath the general anesthesia with no major risks. And he said that because she has asthma, there is no major concern or risk for surgery, that she's a good candidate, or else he wouldn't do it, because I did ask. That makes me very nervous. But he said that she's doing really well, other than the asthma and possible food allergies, but the food allergies type of thing is like not like a danger to her with anesthesia. So yeah, but I just wanted to share that information because maybe you guys have a cat and you've been noticing some things or signs and symptoms of it. So if you do, please make sure to take your cat to the vet and get it checked out. But I wanted to show you guys our medication log that I made for our cat. So I found a template of this, and then I didn't like the template, so I just made my own. So I've been tracking and logging all of our times that we give her her medication from the very beginning. It just helps me to, that's the last that I've made, but it helps me to remember when we need to give her medication. And I need to make a new one because I hadn't added the inhaler 2 times a day, just because I did not realize that the Flovent would come in on time, and it was a very hard thing to find Flovent that wasn't literally like $400. So yeah, and due to COVID-19, there's a lot of places that are not working right now. So yeah, but basically the log has the date, the medication, the dose that needs to be given, the frequency, time. I put a part for us to check it off so that I know that it's done, and then by who, so that we know who is giving her the medication, when, and how much is given, and how much should be given, and what the medication name is, and what day it was given, so that if for some reason something happens, we have the chart, we have everything logged so that we can give it to our vet. And also it just helps me to remember when to give her medicine, so I don't miss a dose. And if I am confused if I've given her the dose or not, I can just look at the chart. So I highly recommend that if you have to do medication for your kitty, to make a chart. So that's just my thing, but hopefully that would help you. But yeah, I wanted to share this, and I'm a little nervous about the whole thing, so hopefully it goes well. And I definitely am nervous about everything. I hope that she's gonna be okay. I know she will be, but it's still a little scary to have your cat have health problems, or any animal, because they are like family to me, and I love my cat. She is literally the sweetest cat, and I'm so happy that we rescued her. So yeah, but I wanted to let you guys know kind of what's been going on. Hopefully you learned something, and I hope that maybe it helps somebody who has the same issues with their cat or who is concerned for their cat and doesn't know what's going on. I hope maybe this answers some questions and you can get that vet appointment as soon as possible. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. So I am going to go and make one more video kind of giving you guys a life update. But yeah, I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.